Well, I got a little ramble here about work, jobs. Hopefully, I don't go over 10 minutes. I was watching a movie, found it on YouTube. Don't know how I find some of these movies. Who was in it? Kevin Costner, um, Tommy Lee Jones. Who's the guy that played Coach? Craig T. Nelson. Yeah. And it was a movie about Craig T. Nelson was the CEO of this huge conglomerate of companies. And I guess one of their main enterprises was shipbuilding. And shipbuilding was suffering, and they had to close down two of their shipbuilding lines. And the third one looked like it was in jeopardy. And Ben Affleck is in the movie too, yeah. So Ben Affleck gets fired. And then another guy gets fired, and he goes on to kill himself because they can't deal with the loss of his job, which supported his family and his daughter's tuition and in a big expensive school. And I don't know. It was an interesting movie. Ben Affleck goes through terrible times. His wife stands by him. His kids stand by him, and I should have done this earlier, man. It's about to get different than it was because we were in the 70s, I think. We've had some beautiful days, but it's about to have a nice cold front come through. Anyway, you'll enjoy the ding dongs over here from my wife's wonderful chimes. So I watched this movie, and these guys are all struggling. And Tommy Lee Jones was one of the senior administrators in this company. And he gets canned. He gets fired by his old friend, who's the CEO. And it's a painful movie to watch because it strikes at the core of what people are trying to do. They're trying to work. You can't really make it in a capitalist society, in a society run by products and inventions and productivity. It's really hard to make it without having a basic income, a really good income in most cases. And so the movie reminded me of a couple of things. Finally, Tommy Lee Jones, by the way, starts a new business out of an old business that was decrepit, and so he starts a new business, and that's kind of the end of the movie. But he does something. He takes on the new role. He finds his new job after he finds out that his new job is to find a new job, which is an amazing turning point that people need to have. So I'm doing this little video because I want mostly young people, because they're the ones that are starting out in life looking for a job and a way to bring income into the house. And some of them are entrepreneurs. You can see them starting their businesses. Sometimes it's content creation online, YouTube and stuff. And I'm no expert in that, but at least there are young people that are sitting up saying, I got to do something. So what am I gonna do? So I've got 2, 3, maybe 4 tips in this little video here. First off, recognize when your parents, and do this when you're young, recognize that your parents are trying to help you find a way in life. Sometimes, I'll just use my old man as an example. That guy tried to teach me how to paint signs, paint houses, paint rooms. He taught me how to be a painter. And the sign painting I hated it. He annoyed me because he'd have me out in the front room. He had this old house that he turned into a house. It was a butcher shop. So the front room was really a retail butcher establishment. Had a cold room and everything to store the meat. It was a fantastic place to grow up, really, as a kid. But the front room was a sign painting shop, and you don't see signs painted this way anymore. He tried to teach me how to paint with the old speedball methods and with paint brushes and old oil paints. And anyway, he tried that. Didn't seem to work, so he went on to something else. He tried to teach me how to carve wood. He tried to teach me woodworking. They tried to teach me how to work for city entities like the police and the fire department. I won't explain it all, but in my teen years, probably from 12 to 17, maybe I got so fed up with him, I just wouldn't listen to him anymore at all. Because he was always trying to teach me something and make me work, really. And, I wanted to be a kid. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to play baseball. And he let me do some of that. He didn't stop me from doing it. But he seemed to be interfering with my fun. I'd take a different tack if I were a young person today. I'd negotiate with my parents and say, okay, let me learn some things. Let me try some things. And if I don't like it, let's try some other things. But let me have some fun too. Let's divide the time up. So that's the first tip. Recognize that there are people in your life that want you to succeed. They just maybe don't know how to get you to a place where you're going to be successful. The second tip is learn from people who have lost their jobs. And that's what that movie was about. People who have lost their jobs are not starting out. They're starting over. And they have, I'm just guessing, but they have a 10 times harder situation to work through than people that are starting out, because they've got bills, they've got family responsibilities, they've got a mortgage, they've got a car, and these are people that can tell you what not to do. They can tell you how to I'm just watching a city car go off here. Anyway, they can tell you what not to do, and that's not to get into big debt, not to get into other causes of trouble, not to spend too much, not to waste your money, waste your time. And that's because they've gone through transitions that are so difficult that it makes them regret some of the things they've done. So getting around those people can be a very instructive experience. And almost everybody, I've gone through a couple of times where I had a job and somewhere down the future, I didn't have that job. You get fired, you get chased out, you get intimidated, you get forced exits, they're called. You get sent off to Siberia is another way of getting rid of people that you don't want in positions. Sometimes it's just in the military, they had this thing called RIFs, R-I-F, reduction in force, which is basically a huge layoff. After the Vietnam War, there was a great big RIF. Anyway, my old man, when I was 12 years old, he says, you're going to go in the Army, you're going to drive a tank. He already had it planned out for me. I'm not sure. Anyway, by the time I was 17, I signed up for the Army. Next thing I know, I wasn't quite 18 yet in basic training. And my 18th birthday, I'm in the Army. And he was kind of happy, I think, to get rid of me because I was too hard to figure out, for him to figure out how to, train me into something good. A lot of people say, oh, go to college, you'll figure it out there. Or get married, or who knows, I don't know what everybody says. The thing is, you got to look out for people at this point. And if you're a young person, you got to look out for yourself. You got to realize that you're going to need some way of making a living. And it might be one of those, what my son calls soul-sucking jobs. He hated it. He's kind of in the entertainment outdoor industry today, and it's really kind of fascinating. But he works on charter ships and stuff, scuba diving and things like that. Anyway, you're really happy to see young people get out there and experience the structured life of finding how to get a job and how to work and how to make a life at it. This is a big problem today. It's huge. That's why Mike Rowe is so popular, because he's teaching people how to get skills with their hands, things that they can do to go out and make a living, a pretty good living in many cases. And you don't have to work for 40 years anymore at it, 50 years. If you work hard, you can do things in 15 to 25 years. that'll create a bundle of wealth for you so that you can do other things in life that you want to do as well. Anyway, if you see somebody that's young and struggling with this, take some time, spend some time with them, get them some help, talk to them about it, and encourage them to think more about the difficulties of getting into a life of work that makes a difference. There are really only two kinds of work: that which pays you, and that's not necessarily bad, but that which or pays you or helps you or you work for yourself, kind of. And then there's working for other people, kind of a service mentality, where you really get into people's lives and you try to make their lives better by serving them either with products or some other services. So anyway, there's some tips in there. If you ferret them out, that'd be fun to hear from you. In the meantime, I'm so glad to be back out here doing stuff. I've been so under the weather and having so many challenges, but it feels good to make another video. And that's Marty from Absorption 77. Hoping you're having a great life, whether you're 20 or 80. We'll see you later.